Oh, what's this? Oh my goodness, it's a website. What's a website? Remember websites when we had, you know, before Google.com become the only website? Yeah. Before artificial intelligence, we had regular old intelligence. We could make our own websites and people would go look at them. My goodness, what a novel idea. Look, once upon a time I had a website called unworlding.com and a website called treebar.com and a website called aircaraccess.com and YouTube videos. Well, I still got some of those. For example, unworlding.com, I moved everything. I moved everything to limberluck.com because as long as google.com is the only website anybody ever going to look at, well, why should I pay for 3 websites? I pay for one now, limberluck.com, and then you go unworlding.html. That's unworlding.com. It moved. I used to have a Facebook group and everything till I told Facebook where they could shove it, back in the good old voodoo days. In case you only look at YouTube videos like me, there you can read my whole homepage right here on YouTube. You're welcome. Look at this. That's pretty fancy, huh? The harmonic nature of reality. Learn all about it. This is an old website, but some of it's still valid, and the rest of it, it'll be added to and edited and rewritten as I get around to it, if I get around to it. Look, pearly gates, you see? I made this. I didn't make those people stand there, though. They probably stood there before I was born, based on the way they're dressed. I'm old, but all those people already went to the pearly gates. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. My latest project. Hopefully by now all the people who are actually incapable of watching a whole video have left, because I purposely try to get rid of them by having a long introduction. I am one of those people, but I'm not looking for people like me. I'm looking for people that are looking for content. I read something that said you should always smile when you make a YouTube, because then people would like you better and they'd watch all your movies. Howdy. This here's Professor Udi Guru, coming to you from wherever the heck I am. Is it working? You still there? Okay, well, I didn't think so. So, me and my chronic sidekick, New Age Ned, are here to talk about a serious topic today. As always, it's always a serious topic here at wherever the heck I am, the nowhere. I like to call it the nowhere. It's my word for the basically the universe, but it's from a certain perspective, which is that you could turn it into anything you want because why not? It's a dream, isn't it? Yes, it is. Life is a dream. Let me look at my notes here and figure out what I was going to talk about. Forget dream journals, just experience your dreams. Well, that sounds like an interesting notion. In at least two places, Carlos Castaneda said, well, he basically said, what do you want to keep a dream journal for? Don't be silly. He rakes the notion of keeping a dream journal over the coals pretty bad by making his teacher, Don Juan, make fun of it big time. I'm going to try and explain why. Now, I'm going to show you my dream journal from back in the days when I was keeping a dream journal, and this is only part of it, but I'm going to show it. Just hang on, I'll be right back. Ah, jeez. Oh, how did that happen? Bad planning on my part, I suppose. Okay, hang on. This is only part of it. Because I only wrote on one side of the paper, you see. So my wife uses these she uses them to like for her laundry list kind of stuff. Anyway. I not only wrote my dreams down every single night in great detail, but I also Jesus Christ, I ate too much breakfast. I also typed them puppies like over and over because I didn't do it just the way I wanted to, so I type them over and I type them over. Of course, when you do this, you have lots of dreams, or you remember lots of dreams, and it's like the number one technique for developing dream recall. And there's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and do it. But at some point, what you need to do is think about what is intent. Do I actually intend to remember my dreams, to experience my dreams, or do I remember my dreams because I'm forcing myself to by some tips and tricks that I learned off of a book or a video? Well, tips and tricks are fine up to a point, but at some point, that's not what I would call the path with heart. What you want to do is learn what intent is and intend to experience your dreams fully. Because otherwise you're just going to burn out. Following instructions, tips and tricks, that's all a burnout. It's a big burnout. There's an old Tibetan dream yoga text translated and then commented upon by a Tibetan, what do they call those guys? Oh, for Christ's sake, I haven't done this stuff in so long, I can't remember what they used to call themselves. Let's see. It's a funny word. Not yogi, that's like Yogi Bear. What is that word? Oh, for crying out loud. Senility is it's got its ups and downs, you know. What did I make myself remember? Wow, wow, wow. Shaman is not the word. What's the Tibetan guys called? Jeepers, creepers. I gotta ask Google everything. Google, dear Google, what is my name? Where do I live? I have no idea. What is name of Tibetan spiritual teacher? Lama. Okay. No wonder I didn't remember. It's very confusing. So this old Lama fella, he translated this ancient dream yoga text, and then he commented on it, and I used to have the PDF. And I can never forget what this guy said. Either he said it about dream journals or I just remember it that way, one or the other. He said, never cling to any experience. Well, I mean, he's a Buddhist, right? Never cling to any experience. Why would you want to cling to an experience? Well, people want to have a lot of memories. Well, I'm 70, that's 70. I don't want a lot of memories. I've already got a lot of memories. In spite of senility, I've got a lot of memories, and I have a hard time making it through the day experiencing what's going on, what's actually going on around me, because memories get in the way. I don't need all those memories. Why would I want all those memories? I'm tired of a good proportion of all those memories. You can only milk those memories so long before it becomes pointless. Take my word for it. And I'm not someone who regrets stuff. Why waste your energy regretting something? That's the same thing as clinging. Clinging to your old experiences, regretting your old experience. It's two sides of the same coin. Neither one of them is what you'd call correct from a Buddhist standpoint or a Taoist standpoint. I used to keep, oh man, I showed you my dream journals. Okay. I remember one, what they would call a pre-lucid dream. I'd call it a lucid dream, but then I'm going to tell you my own personal redefinition of what lucidity actually is in a little bit. I had this dream where I was walking around, and I'll tell you something, my best dreams are where I'm walking around. Possibly my second best dreams are where I'm driving around. And last night I had a dream about riding around on a bicycle. But once upon a time I had a dream, and this was during my journaling days. I dreamed that I was walking around and there was this big shelter with long tables under it, and all these people were sitting at these tables eating and stuff, or it was just sitting, I don't know. It was a big gathering, lots of people. And then outside of the main shelter, which was like open on no walls, it's just a roof like you see at the park, you know, with picnic tables under it, but it was very big. And then outside of this shelter, there was more tables and people sitting around at those. And I was looking for a piece of paper so I could write down my dreams. This was what I was dreaming. And it wasn't what you'd call an officially lucid dream. By officially lucid, I mean I didn't know I was dreaming. I didn't know that my body was lying in bed sleeping and I was dreaming. My way of looking at it is I wasn't. That's where I was. That's what I was experiencing. That's my experience. So anyhow, I walked up to this one table outside of the main area, and there was these young fellers sitting there. And I sat down at the table with these guys. There's maybe, 5 or 6 of them. Sit at this picnic table. I wonder if I sit in a certain way, then people watch all my movies. Probably. Is the noise in my head bothering you? Because if you want, I could stop thinking. So here I am, sitting at this table. I'm looking for a piece of paper to write down my dreams on, but I can't find one anyplace. So I see this guy, he's got a white t-shirt. And I'd say to him, well, dude, can I write on your shirt? Because I really desperately wanted to write down my dream really bad. And that's not the only dream I ever had about looking for something to write my dream. I had a dream one time I was looking for my dream journal and I couldn't find it. Now there's these things called, I call them lucidity triggers. It's stuff you care about in real life or stuff that you used to care about in real life. For example, I used to be obsessed with wanting to repair pianos. So when I dream about broken pianos, it really gets my attention because those are things that I personally was interested in. Okay, this is a theme. Me, I, who am I? That is what dreams are not about, and that's why we don't remember them. Because what is I? This me, this identity. Well, the real I is just pure awareness, but this identity is a string of memories. And there's nothing else to it but memories. Who am I? I'm everything I remember. That pretty much covers it. So I have this many, many memories of fixing pianos, fixing broken pianos, of ecstatically bringing a new broken piano into my life so I can fix it. Guitars, the color pink, because I used to be an avid lover of rose quartz. And if you find pink, oh my God, I found something in the ground. It's so nice. Crystals, any kind of beautiful rocks, walking, maps, love maps, dogs. My dream last night, which I call a lucid dream, I'll get to that, but in one of my dreams last night, come on in, just come on in. Many interruptions today. Go ahead, just tell me what you want to say. Take your key. Take your key with you because I might leave. I'm going to Panabo today.
Tuesday today?
Yes, Tuesday.
Pwede ka mga 500.
Maybe if I can find some.
Oy! Kadali lang! 1 minute.
Get over here, stand in front of the camera for a second and introduce yourself.
Oh! Next! Ay, panyo din. After cemetery, sorry, wala na ko sa event ko po in social welfare with the pick up the idea.
Take your key. Nice day. Enjoy your trip to the mall. Hope the mall roof doesn't cave in while we're there, because I told you a story in my last movie about how that almost happened to us long ago at the mall. Oh my goodness. That's a good movie too. You should watch it. To write down where my money goes, because it reduces my anxiety if I know where it is, or where it went, I should say. I shouldn't say my anxiety. I don't own my anxiety. It's just passing through. It's not mine. You say, if you call it mine, you invite it back. I used to cling to this notion that I was autistic. Bunch of BS. I'll tell you how I cured myself of that. One day for my birthday, my papa sent me a book about some autistic, so-called autistic guy, Asperger. And then another year, my sister, or the next year, my sister sent me a book and a video by these two people who were making money off their son's supposed autism. And then my mama wrote me a letter one day, and she said something about your autism. That pretty much cured me. I said, no, not me. I don't own this crap. I'm going back to being a regular person with a personality, not some molded thing stamped out of a mold. Anyhow, so here I am. I'm going up these stairs. It wasn't the first time I saw stairs last night. The first time I saw stairs last night in my nightly experiences, call them dreams if you want, I call them experiences, because I remember them, right? I remember it happened to me, didn't it? Yeah, it happened to me. Was it solid? Well, maybe it was at the time, because when I walked up them stairs, they held me up, didn't they? That's solid, isn't it? So, first time I encountered stairs last night, I was going down this, like, just 3 stairs. It's just like a porch, you know? So I'm going down these 3 stairs, and there was a kind of a big boulder on one of them, and I had to step around it, kind of like. It's what I call the Urumara. It's a obstacle. There's always an obstacle in your dreams. A fence that you have to climb, something you have to climb over, jump across, get around, squeeze through. It's the Urumara. Watch out for that. That's what that is. That's you changing to a different state of being, a different. You're altering your state at that time when you go through the Urumara. And I would say the prime Urumara is when you're going from so-called waking to so-called sleeping. Pay attention. And you'll notice that your dream or your experience either becomes more lucid at that point or less lucid, or you wake up. A lot of times you wake up. Anyway, later on last night, I experienced walking up stairs in this old wooden building. I'd call it a boarding house, basically. Some wooden stairs, kind of a ramshackle building. Along the way, I meet a woman with lots of warts on her face and kind of dishwater blonde hair, and I kind of get a kind of a drug addict vibe from her or something, or desperado of some sort. But I go in this room, and I'm kind of sitting on the floor or something, and here comes my dog. And I manufacture a memory. Oh, I had lost my dog. My dog had been lost. And we do this all the time. We do it when we're awake and don't realize it. We do it when we're asleep and don't realize it. I manufactured a memory. The past is manufactured. The past is imagined into existence. The past does not exist. Therefore, the past never existed. The present, therefore, doesn't exist. And we all know that the future doesn't exist. Yet, what we don't realize is that it never will. I manufactured a memory of my dog was lost. And now, oh my goodness, my dog has come back. And I said, oh my goodness, I'm so emotional and so happy. And she's obviously been traumatized and she's all wet like she got caught in a rainstorm. And I look at her and she got one eye shut like that. And I said to her, oh, did you lose an eye today? Those are the exact words. Now, whenever I title a dream, I use some exact words from the dream as the title of the dream. So if I was keeping a dream journal, I would use that as the title of this dream. Did you lose an eye today? And I was thinking about that. Well, maybe I'll write this one down because I never do anymore. My intention is to remember my experiences, to pay attention while I'm having an experience and to remember it. But I was thinking about writing this one down and suddenly I realized, oh, it's a dream pun. Did you lose an eye today? My dog, my lucidity trigger, because the things we're interested in, that's what makes us pay attention. For example, if you see a beautiful person of the whatever sexes or gender is attractive to you, that will make you stand up and pay attention, right? It'll make part of you stand up anyways. So whenever you see something that you find personally interesting, that is going to kind of wake you up in the dream, make you more lucid. We're going to talk about that more lucid as opposed to officially lucid concept pretty soon. And the dog was delivering a message. Did you lose an eye today? It's a pun. I. Spell it E-Y-E or spell it I. Did you lose an eye today? It's just a message about what dreams actually are and how they function. What do they offer us? And why should we want to remember who we are at all times when we're asleep? Well, why do we sleep? We sleep because we're tired. Why are we tired? Because we just held a world together for like 16 hours or whatever, however long we were awake. Sorry about the air quotes. I hate them, but sometimes I accidentally use them. The purpose of so-called sleep is to take what we experience, process it, and rearrange who we think we are just a little bit. It's just in small pieces, I think, Because I don't think we change our inner configuration at all, but we just change our attitude a little bit every day, hopefully. And then when the big sleep comes, the final sleep, the one you don't wake up from, then you have the energy to actually change your actual configuration based on what you think you might have learned through your manufactured memories. You remember all this stuff and say, wow. You see your whole life flash in front of your eyes and say, wow, next time I'm going to do this instead. And that's how you reset your configuration for your next so-called life, your next stream of manufactured memories. So I had another experience last night where I'm driving a bicycle. Part of the time I was aware of being on a bicycle. Part of the time I was not aware of being on a bicycle. I was just moving along the road, you know. I might have been driving a car or whatever. It doesn't matter. Moving along. And I had an experience of somebody loading a dead guy into the back of a pink. I said pink was something I like. I look for pink in a dream because it makes me more lucid. Somebody was loading a dead guy into the back of a camper shell on a pink pickup truck. It was one of those rancheros, you know. There's not like a full pickup truck, but a cab in front and a short bed in the back. What do they call them, rancheros? I don't remember what they call them. I don't know. And I felt that I had to follow him because he was obviously doing a bad thing, right? And I wanted to be the one to turn him in. I wanted to call the police on him because he had a dead guy in the back of his car. So I tried to follow him, but I couldn't, and I tried to memorize where he had been and where I had been, and I was paying attention very closely, and that's the important part. The pink truck made me pay attention. Lucidity triggers. Lucidity is not about knowing that you're dreaming. I'm going to get to that. That's official lucidity, but it's just a fad. I'm going to get to real lucidity. I'm going to explain that to you a little bit. I got a whole movie on it, but I don't remember if it's any good or not. Maybe you should watch it and find out and tell me. I eventually lost track of this guy, but by this time I was looking around so carefully that I was having a very interesting dream, and everything I saw was so interesting. All these buildings. I was in this downtown area, and it's what I call the grandiose city. It's when the city becomes so interesting, and the signs, the buildings, everything becomes so interesting. It's just very lucid. You don't have to know that you're dreaming. Sometimes it's so colorful. I see an apartment building and it's like 6 different colors. So interesting. Lucidity is 3-dimensional. I'm not talking about official lucidity where you know that your body's laying in bed to sleep and blah, blah, blah. That's okay. I mean, I got nothing against when that happens, it happens. It's happened to me many times. But real lucidity is, look it up in the dictionary. That's what lucidity really is. Lucidity is a sharpened awareness. More interesting experience. You're having a more interesting experience while you're creating this experience as you go. That's what they call dreaming. It's an okay word. It's not a great word, but it's all right sometimes. The 3 dimension of lucidity is length, how long the dream is, right? A very long dream is more lucid. We're talking about degrees of lucidity, something you can appreciate instead of saying, oh, rats, I didn't have a lucid dream. Oh, really? I think you should try harder to appreciate the dream that you do have, because if you do that, the chances are you will have more officially lucid dreams. But that's not the only reason. The real reason is, don't you want to experience your experiences? Well, length is one of the dimensions of lucidity. Depth is another. Depth, the depth dimension. That's how relevant the dream is to you. Okay, so we got two dimensions. We've been talking about depth, the things in it, the people in it are interesting to me personally. Okay, that's what makes you wake up in a dream. That's what makes you pay attention. Length and depth. And the other dimension of three-dimensional lucidity is height. How high does it make you? Because, face it, why do people want to have lucid dreams? Because it gets you high, duh. We're just people, come on. Don't give me this spirituality nonsense. We're just people, we just want to get high. We want to have a good time. We want to enjoy our experiences. All right? That's real lucidity. And I could go on, but I don't want you to sit here listening to videos about lucid dreams. I want you to have experiences that are worth having. I want you to have enjoyable experiences. And that's why I'm telling you, don't sit around writing down your dreams. Learn what intent is. Learn how to find it. Learn how to intend to experience and remember your dreams. And then, I don't care what I dreamed last night. And those dream journals I showed you, how often do I dip into those? Never. My wife writes on the back page of them, she thinks, wow, y'all never have to buy another notebook again, because my husband wrote down all his dreams for 3 years. Do people read the front page where I got all of them scribbling? No, nobody looks at that. Nobody cares, including me. Why write down your dreams? Why cling to an experience? Because while you're clinging to the past, you're not experiencing the present. What you want is to wake up in the middle of the night and don't move, don't open your eyes, don't think about anything except, what did I just do? What did I just do? And then you'll remember your dream and what before that, what happened before that, what happened before. You go back as far as you can and then just mull over your experience, mull over it. And that is remembering your dreams. That's what you should do. Record it in your memory, and then in the morning, that was cool. And it will color your day. It's the same as writing them down. You won't remember as many details, but when you start waking up with 7, 8 dreams that you remember in great detail and you are obligated to write them all down, the next step is burnout. Okay, I know what that is. The next step is burnout. So I'm encouraging you to not burn yourself out on your so-called dreaming practice. Don't do that. You're going to be dreaming the rest of your life. You might as well enjoy it the rest of your life. Don't burn out on it. And another thing, for most people, now we got these fantasies because there's all these dream coaches who brag about their, I had a continuous lucid dream for an hour and 45 minutes and I lived entire lifetimes in my lucid dream and blah, 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 blah. Well, good. Good for them. And then they get to have a YouTube channel and they get to sucker us into buying their book and they get to make us think that we can do that too. Well, guess what? Most of us never going to do that. And some of us are going to be able to do it, but it's going to take 10, 15, 20, 30 years to learn how. And what is true of almost every one of these dream coaches and spontaneous out-of-body experiencers? What is true of most of these guys? Most of them are people who accidentally somehow fall into having sleep paralysis. It just happened to them. It just happens to them. There's something about their configuration or their circumstances. It just happens to them. They did not. Most of them. I mean, there's exceptions, plenty of exceptions, but very, very many of these frequent lucid dreamers, it just happened to them. Unworlding. I call it unworlding. I keep calling it lucid dream in this movie, but I prefer to call it unworlding because out-of-body experiences, lucid dream, it's all the same thing. It's all just a dream, but so is life. Life is just a dream. That's why I call myself a radical pseudo-Buddhist, because radical Buddhism, the core of Buddhism, which I read in the same book by that Lama guy, the core of Buddhism, forget all the trappings of Buddhism. Don't watch videos about Buddhism because they're just going to talk about all the blah, blah, blah. The religion. Buddhism isn't a religion. The core of Buddhism says that life is a dream. Everything is an illusion. Well, they water that down for the masses, the Buddhist masses, by saying, well, everything is temporary. Okay, well, but the non-watered down version is life is a dream. You're manufacturing the past just as much as you're imagining the future. Same process. The present, how long does that last? About that long. It doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is existence, which is another word for awareness, which is another word for infinity. The Tao, Akasha, the Great Spirit, nature, reality with a capital R. What stands behind everything? The unnameable. All these words are inadequate. You can't describe it. You can try, and we do try, and we'll continue trying. Because it's so interesting, and it's the only thing there is, and it's not even a thing. Life is a dream. That's a good thing. Why you want to ruin it, making it all about you? The purpose of going to sleep at night is to make it not about you. And then the trick is get a little bit of that you back into it, and it's interesting. That's what lucid dreaming is. It's mixing a little bit of you back into it. Because if it's just a bunch of random, unconnected garble, it's not very interesting. And you can't even describe it. It's too abstract. That's why you can't remember your dreams. If you don't pay attention to your dreams, most people won't remember them. When you start paying attention to your dreams, you bring a little bit of your identity back into the dream. Oh, my dog, And in the dream about where I was following the guy that had a dead guy in his pink car, I ended up in a place where some people were showing me maps and stuff. And I was, oh my goodness, I was looking at this map so carefully, trying to concentrate. And this is the road. Oh no, this is the road. Oh, and there, of course, it's hopeless. But very, very focused. And a dream like that, it colors the day later on just as much as a so-called officially lucid dream. It colors your day. It makes your whole existence more interesting. But people who are never going to be frequent lucid dreamers, people who are never going to have lucid dreams that are 2 or 3 hours long and infinite in scope and live whole lifetimes. I mean, I did that once. I remember the last scene. That's all I remember. Trying to be one of those people instead of trying to follow your own path and do your own dream thing, whatever that is, and accepting and acknowledging and appreciating the dream life that you have. Trying to be one of those people, one of those cherry-picking exaggerators who have lucid dream channels. I'll tell you what it's going to do for you. It's going to make you have lucid dreams, and then what it did for me was after the first few, which were amazing, I started having lucid dreams that were about that long. I'm lucid! And the excitement wakes you up. And that went on until I said, I'm going back to my other hobbies because this is a burnout. A 2-second long dream. I'm dreaming! Oh, great. Wakes me up every time. I'm flying! It wakes me up. What's that good for? Since I'm so old, you like my pink unicorn? Since I'm so old, I get leg cramps. My heart is not pumping as hard as it used to. So what happens is, if you're standing up, your blood kind of falls down because of gravity, goes all the way to your feet. But if you're laying flat, I mean, I used to notice in the morning if I pointed my toes at the wrong time when I first wake up, leg cramps. Now, it's like I don't need to do anything. I just wake up, again, every morning. This has to happen every morning. I hate leg cramps. Your calf just seizes up and because you have memories of that really scaring the crap out of you because you didn't know if it was ever going to stop. You didn't know how to make it stop. Of course, the way to make it stop is to pull your toes, and the other way to make it stop is stand up. Make your legs vertical so the blood will flow to your feet, and your weight also straightens out your toes so you're not pointing your toes. But anyhow, it happens every night because I was a smoker for 26 years, and I blame that partly. So probably my ticker isn't as good as it should be. I haven't smoked in 20 years, but 21 years. But anyhow, so if I go to bed 8 or 9, 10, whatever, because I'm old, sometimes if I'm tired, I go to bed. Sometimes I wake up at like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock is when I wake up usually. But sometimes I wake up saying, I want to go back and have some more nice dreams. So they call this WTBW, but it's a hell of a lot faster to say wake back to bed than it is to say WTB. Just wake back to bed, it's fine. Don't need the stupid acronym. I get up and I walk around. I sleep on I I sleep upstairs, and there's a big balcony, big enough to play ping pong on, right outside my bedroom door. So I go out on the balcony if I'm not already sleeping out there, and I walk around where the ping pong table used to be. And I walk around in circles, and I pick my legs up really high because I think it, wakes up my muscles and increases the blood flow to my legs so that I can sleep longer. Well, I started doing that because of the cramps, but I continue to do that also because it wakes me up a little bit. It brings me back into me a little bit, so that when I go from my waking so-called body into my sleeping so-called body, my dreaming body, I bring a little bit more of me back. Because you want to rest, you want to sleep. That's why we have to sleep, because it requires energy to hold the world together. But that is very fatiguing, holding the world together. You hold the whole world together with your imagination, with your intent. But the section of sleep, it drags us away from ourself, because it is being you that makes you tired. So you want to take a little bit of you into your dream body, and then you will have more lucid. Your dreams will be more lucid. And if you appreciate what lucidity you do have, if you have a mental model of more lucid instead of black and white, either lucid or not lucid. That's why I make fun of lucidity. Officially lucid, who needs it? It's great. I love lucid dreams, officially lucid dreams, but I don't need them. If all your dreams need to be lucid, officially lucid, then all your food needs to be ice cream. That's how I feel about it. You just relax, grow up a little bit, and appreciate what you do have. And your dreams will become more lucid. But especially the best of the tips and tricks, in my opinion, is wake back to bed. 4 o'clock in the morning, you're groggy, I get up to pee, I just want to lay back down and go back to sleep. No, walk around a little bit, wake yourself up a little bit, throw a little cold water in your face and lie down. Do something. Bring a little bit of yourself back to the bed, because you already got your rest. Now it's time to do something, have some fun. Now they say, in all the forums and the tips and tricks, they always say, well, don't even try when you first lay down. I disagree. I've had so-called wild, where you go directly from waking to sleeping or waking to dreaming. I've had my wild experiences have been immediately after I laid down. So I disagree with don't try to do anything until you've had 6 hours of sleep. But it is true that you will have more lucid dreams that are more lucid. Talking about like a spectrum or whatever. Not all spectrums are stupid. Just the autism spectrum. A dream that is more lucid, an experience that is more lucid, whether you're waking or sleeping. That's desirable. It's more fun. It's more interesting. So the moral of the story is, we forget who we are when we dream. We become a random individual, a random and ever-changing individual when we dream because we need to. It's normal. It fulfills a psychological need. You need to not carry all your memories into the dream world. And there are some of these dream teachers make videos to say, I'm not going to do lucid dreaming anymore because it makes me tired. You don't want to burn out. You want to do this the rest of your life, don't you? So appreciate what you do have, and that will open doors for you. It's not about knowing where you are all the time, who you are all the time. It's not about knowing your body is lying in bed somewhere. It's not about knowing your name, rank, and serial number. It's about what everything is about. Awareness. Experience your experiences, all of them. Appreciate what's around you all the time. They call that all-day awareness. What do you see? What do you hear? Get out of your head. It's one of the good tips and tricks. Get out of your head. Whether it helps your dreaming or not, do it anyway. Pay attention. Listen to what the sound is over there and there and there and there and there. If you can't sleep, here's a tip and trick. If you can't sleep because you're thinking too much, well, if you try to stop thinking, that's not guaranteed to work. Sometimes it works in reverse. Because then you're going to start thinking about trying to stop thinking. You use a positive implant to push all that aside. Here's what you do. You close your eyes. I put a dark cloth around my face, my eyes, because it works better than a mask, and it's more comfortable. You can't see anything, but you can still hear stuff. And by the way, those people who say, "Oh, get, blackout curtains, a soundproof room, earplugs, blah blah." Those people, don't listen to those people. Most of these lucid dream videos are going to screw you up. Where I live in the Philippines, when the baby's ready to sleep, they turn up the stereo. They don't turn it down, they turn it up. And because of this, Filipinos can sleep anywhere, anytime. Noise doesn't bother them. If they want to sleep, they sleep. Okay? So there's a tip and trick for you. But here's another one. If you're having a hard time sleeping because your mind is grinding on, or the neighbors are noisy, or whatever, you lay there. Don't worry about relaxing. I like to breathe. I like to do connected breathing. I've got videos about that. It helps a lot. But here's the main thing. If you don't like to do connected breathing, some people think it's too intense. Well, whatever. Listen. Listen to the neighbor's noise. And then listen to the crickets. And then listen to the chickens. And then listen to the pigs. I live in the country, so I hear pigs too. Listen to the dogs. Listen to the cars. Listen to the traffic 2 miles away. You can hear it at night, If it's only like a mile and a half, you can hear the highway. A mile and a half away if you pay attention. Was it going to let it keep you up? Don't let it keep you up. Listen to it as part of the meditation. So something else I learned from Carlos Castaneda. Listen to it from an interview he gave to a magazine. Listen to the noise. Listen carefully. But don't just do that. Feel. Feel your fingers, your body. I don't do this. I'm going to feel every part of my body and relax every part of my body, blah, blah, blah. Maybe because I already know how and it's automatic. I don't know. But every sensation, the wind blowing against your face if you're outside, every sensation, and then go back to listening and just try to do both at the same time. When you manage to do both the listening and the feeling at the same time, Well, you can't see anything, right? Well, yes, you can, because there's no such thing as the three-dimensional blackness or the nowhere or the void or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it is the nowhere, but it's not black. What it is it's every possible image all piled on top of each other in an infinite pile of images. And mastering hypnagogia or hypnagogia is about only seeing the one that's on top. But you don't have to force it, and you don't have to try, because there's this thing called Metsuki. That's what I call it. It's the balance between focus and detachment. If you start seeing an image and you focus in on it too hard, it'll disappear. And if you go back to panoramic vision, see it all at once, it might come back. This happened to me. I see something very clearly and I focus in on it, it disappears. I go back to panoramic vision, it comes back. Metsuki, balancing focus and detachment. It's the art of manifestation in a nutshell, the one they don't talk about, the easy one, the key to manifestation, to seeing what you want or seeing anything. When you got a black mask in front of your eyes, it's just relax and wait for it. And here's what I found out. I don't know how I figured this out. I don't remember, but pay attention to everything you hear. Pay attention to everything that your body feels. And if you do those two things at the same time, you will start to notice the hypnagogia. The images will come all by themselves. You don't have to try. It's just a matter of noticing. And yes, I've told this story recently in one of my videos. I have gone directly from viewing hypnagogia into a dream. Just like straight out of a Castaneda book. So, appreciate what's around you all the time. Know that every experience is an amazing dream, because the simple fact that we seem to exist is amazing enough to keep us in awe through 10,000 lifetimes. Do not cling to any experience. Why not? Because while you're clinging to something that happened last night or 2 nights ago, or yesterday, or earlier today when somebody looked at you cross-eyed, while you're clinging to some past experience, whether it's a dream or whatever, you're not experiencing anything. This is Professor U.D. Guru. Thanks for showing up, and I'll see you in the next movie. Bye-bye.